really appreciate all the hard work. It appears that my impression about you was right. I knew that you would come through and bring closure to the incident. Yeah, but the army took off with the glory. So I don't know if we could exactly say that we solved the case. No, that's not true. If you hadn't been there, I don't know if the army's raid would have been so successful. Backed into a corner as they were, the Skybants may very well have harmed the hostages. Agreed. Everything worked out because you infiltrated their hideout and took them out ahead of time. You should be proud of what you've done. You really think so? Teehee. It's true, the hostages were freed and the Skybants arrested, but it's a bit vexing to know that there are still some unanswered questions left. The men who appeared at the Valera Lake shore and the mystifying attitude of the leader of the Sky Bandits. I think we should consider that there's a lot behind this incident that we don't know about. Well, I guess we'll have to leave that part up to the Royal Army to figure out. With all the culprits being detained by them, there's really not much left we can do. Anyway, we should just be glad that the hostages came back safe. Thanks to the news about the arrest of the Skybants, things are returning to normal here in town. As a token of my thanks, I've added a bit of a bonus to your reward. Really? Are you okay with that? Haha, of course I am. I'd like to thank you too, Oliver. Ha! I just hope that my work was worth the price of that grand Chardonnay. Yes, in fact, there was change to spare. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and if anything else comes up, I'd greatly appreciate your help again. Good day. Wow, nice that someone appreciates us. I'm sure that if the incident had gone on any longer, it would have caused much more confusion. It's probably only natural that the mayor is as happy as she is. Haha, now I'm starting to feel all giddy inside. I didn't think a bracer could be any more happy than knowing her work helped out a bunch of other people. If you say so, but I think it's safe to say that you're no longer greenhorns. Honestly, the two of you really surprised me this time. Teehee, you think so? Anyway, please accept your assessment and pay for clearing up the incident. We did it. Here's the pay the mayor was talking about. It's a very, very nice sum, and this is from me. We received a recommendation. Isn't this a recommendation from the Bose branch? Is it alright to give this to us so soon? Of course, it would be downright rude of me not to recommend you after receiving such a big incident. Please accept it. Thank you, Lugren. We'll work hard so that we don't bring any embarrassment on this recommendation. Haha, great work, you two. I'm sure your father would be extremely pleased if he heard the news. Sure. You're probably right. I wonder what on earth Cassius could be doing right now. Not contacting the guild is one thing, but not contacting his family is a completely different matter. Yeah, it's definitely not like him. After he suddenly disembarked from the airliner in Bose, I wonder where he could have gone. Excuse me, please. Aren't you the receptionist from the landing port? What's the matter? You see, we've received some of the cargo stolen by the Sky Bandits, and among some of the pieces were a number of parcels addressed to the Bracer Guild. So I'm here to deliver one of them today. I appreciate you doing that. But wait a minute, why is there something addressed to the Bracers Guild when the airliner left Bose to begin with? It's actually addressed to the Roland branch. But aren't Cassius Bright's family members here? What? That's us, Bud. Oh, perfect. We contacted the Roland branch and they said you had come here. Here you are. This is the parcel. Estelle was given both the letter and parcel. This letter, yep. It's in Dad's handwriting. It's addressed to Joshua and I at the Roland branch. It seems as if he just scribbled it out before he got off the airliner. I guess Dad did intend on getting in contact with us after all. Oh. Well, that's good to hear. So that parcel's from your dad too. But this one looks like it was sent to my dad from someone else. Huh? That's odd. Yeah, the sender hasn't written their name anywhere. Okay, my business here is done, so I'll be on my way. Oh, and one other thing. Good job in helping arrest those Sky Bandits. You Bracers sure do excellent work. And to think that a clue about your father would be mixed in with the airliner's cargo. Feel free to use the lounge upstairs to read this letter if you'd like. Thank you, Lugren. Ha! Well then, let's have a look at the contents, shall we? Do you mind telling me what you're still doing here? It's just plain and simple curiosity, that's all. Why did your father disembark the airliner prior to the departure? Were I forced to wait around for an answer, the question would stick in my mind so I never be able to sleep at night. And you're telling me this because... Oh, how heartless and cruel can you be to a companion who has traveled amongst you? And just who is it you have to thank for being able to infiltrate the Sky Bandit's hideout, I wonder? Alright already. You can be a rather obnoxious fellow, I hope you know. I guess we don't have much of a choice. However, depending on the content, we may have to ask you to leave, okay? Ha! Of course I understand. Alright, let's see what he has to say. Estelle starts by cutting the letter seal. Dear Estelle and Joshua, I'm sure you probably finished with the jobs I left for you, right? I'm also sure that there are many things you'll have trouble with in the beginning, but take each one step at a time. I know you both can succeed. Anyway, it turns out I've been a little troubled with my work, and unfortunately it looks like I won't be able to make it home for quite some time. Please don't expect my return until after the Queen's birthday celebration. I'm really sorry that things turned out like they did, but you should be grown up enough not to be lonely while I'm away. So until I get back, I'll leave it up to the both of you to decide how you want to live. You're free to continue working in Roland, or you're free to pursue qualifying as a senior bracer. Your 16th year is a vintage time in your life, so make sure not to waste it. Please give my regards to Charizard and Anna. Cassia Sprite. That seems like the type of letter your father would write. It touches lightly on things, but it's full of consideration towards the both of you. Yeah, it looks that way. The Queen's birthday celebration, is it? From what I've heard, that's still a ways off. Yep, it's about 2 or 3 months away, which means this would be the perfect time to take a small trip. I really wonder where your father is and what he's up to. Forget about that and let's focus on what's in the package. With an unknown sender, there's bound to be something interesting inside. To be honest, I'm pretty curious myself, but we shouldn't be opening things addressed to my dad. Why don't you think of it this way? It was a package delivered by an unknown sender about the time your father disembarked. The two might be related, you know. That's true. Oliver, don't coax Estelle into doing something to satisfy your own curiosity. Although Oliver does have a good point. Instead of leaving it until our dad comes home, it might be worth looking into. Okay, let's check it out. Estelle opened the parcel from the unknown sender. Inside was a shiny black hemispherical device. Also enclosed was a single memo with the item. What's this supposed to be? It's an ornament, although I'm not sure what it's used for. Let's see what the memo says. I was able to secure the item the aforesaid group was carrying, so please take care of it. Please ask Professor R to do an analysis of it when you find opportunity. K. That's it? Yep. It looks like the sender didn't write anything else. Sure, do you know any idea K or Professor R might be? I hate to say this, but I don't have a clue either. Your father's pretty well known, so there's a possibility these people could be foreigners too. If this is the only thing we've got to go on, then honestly I'm about ready to throw in the towel. What the heck is this black ornament anyway? From the shape alone, it doesn't look like anything intended for general use, although it feels a little simpler to a battle ornament. Even so, it's still quite different. A normal battle ornament has slots in which to install quartz, but this one has none. Maybe this one is an artifact. An artifact? Precisely, an artifact is an ornament created by an ancient civilization. Artifacts are the models of the ornaments produced today. They're still occasionally discovered in ruins, and for the most part, the Septon Church has curiosity over them. They're a type of antique, so to speak. I meant custody, not curiosity. I know I stumble over quite a few words, but you get the gist of what I'm saying, and besides, you could just read it for yourself if you don't understand. But this one doesn't appear to be that old. It looks to me like it was made recently. You're right about that. However, this one almost seems like a black market item. Jeez. Now look at what happened because of my good-for-nothing dad. Doesn't he know that we're all worried about him? Estelle. Now he's getting some sketchy item from an unknown sender. What in the world has my dad gotten himself into this time? Estelle. You know, Estelle, I've been thinking, how about we continue our journey? Huh? Joshua. That's what Dad wrote in his letter, right? He said, or you're free to pursue qualifying as a senior bracer. Yeah, he did say that, but We've already managed to get recommendations from Roland and Bose, right? All that's left are Ruinzis and Grancel. Only those three. If we do jobs as we travel around to those other regions, we just might hear something about where Dad is or what he's doing. I think we're just worrying ourselves for nothing, considering Dad's skills. And there's also the possibility that he may have even traveled abroad. But I think getting off our own duffs is a lot better than just sitting around and waiting. And we just might be able to find this Professor R too. Joshua. What? You're a genius. Estelle, what are you talking about? This is like killing 2 birds with 1 stone, or maybe even 10. Sometimes I hate you for being so smart. So, should I consider that a yes? Oh, is it ever? Yes, yes, triple yes. Trying to be a senior bracer as we travel around Liberal, and exposing what that no-good middle-aged man has been doing in the process. I think you're somehow missing the point. Ha ha ha. It looks like she's back to her old self. Ha ha. I guess it's settled then. Well, take care. I'm going to head back to Roland now. That said, I'm still a little worried about you two. Are you sure you don't want me to come along? Give it a rest, Shira. We'll be fine. The whole reason we're going on this trip is to become senior bracers. It wouldn't be training anymore if you came with us. And if you didn't go back, the Roland branch would have a hard time managing things. Don't worry about us. We'll figure out a way to get things done. Well, if you insist. It's pretty rare for someone your age to be aiming for senior bracer status, so don't overdo it. And if you run into any trouble, contact the Roland branch. You got it? I'll come running no matter where you are. Sure, thanks, Shira. And the same goes for you. Don't get yourself too liquored up. That's the only thing I'm worried about. Ha ha ha. Alright, alright. I'll watch the number of drinks. Ha! Never fear, dear children. You can count on me to protect fair Shira. And why are you headed to Roland? Not to mention with Shira. That's because I've tasted all there is to taste of the local dishes here in Bose, and I thought it was about time I turned my attention towards another region. As for Roland's cuisine, I've heard the produce is just to die for, so that's where I'm looking forward to next. That's pretty much it. He says he wants me to introduce him to the nice restaurant and some lovely vegetables, or some such nonsense. Since he's so persistent, I only agreed to him coming along under the conditions that he goes drinking with me at the bar. We'll never see him alive again. Oliver, I really hope you understand what you promised her. Ha! I could die for the likes of fine women and food. Part of me longs to be by your side as you continue your journey, Joshua, but after many agonizing hours of consideration, I've decided to accompany fair Charizard instead. I think I'll be better off with you a safe distance away from me. Well, have fun, but I'm warning you. Don't you dare make any trouble in Roland, you hear me? And here's another piece of advice. When Shira's at the bar, watch out. That's when the gloves come off. I'm seriously not joking when I say you should beware. How dare you speak about your mentor like that, Estelle? And besides, Anna's coming along too. Yeah, and she's even worse than you. The gloves come off, huh? Is that perchance what you and Estelle were talking about before? Yes, Estelle said it best, though. It was nice knowing you. Yes, it was a pleasure. The Roland-bound airliner will be departing shortly. All passengers please board the airship now. Well, Ollie boy, it looks like it's time for us to leave. Come on now, we better hurry and get on. Shira, wait, can't we talk this over? I'd really appreciate it if I had just a little more time to think things through. Surely you're not getting cold feet already. If you consider yourself a man, then quit acting like a ninny. Eek. See you later, Shira. Give our regards to everyone in Roland. Have a wonderful trip, you two. And off they go. And that's the end of Chapter 1. And that's about the gist of the Sky Bandits incident that occurred in Northern Liberal. And to think that the bankrupt Kapua family drifted all the way down here. You might be contacted by Liberal regarding the incident, so deal with it as you see fit. Yeah, it turns out I wasn't able to meet him in the end. It seems like something else must have come up. Also, the connection with the Sky Bandits incident is still unknown, but it's clear that another power is at work here. No, it's not like that at all. I've also become acquainted with an interesting bunch. The food's great, and there are babes everywhere. This is unquestionably my kind of country. Maybe I'll just take up permanent residence here while I'm at it. Alright. There's no need to throw a fit. Anyway, see what else you can find out. Just don't get caught looking into these things by the Chancellor. I'll contact you again, my dear friend. Haha, I love messing with that guy. What's your deal, Oliver? Something is suspicious about you. Are you against us or for us? He's just so stuffy and uptight that I can't help myself. A portable phone, huh? Well, aren't you carrying around quite the nifty gadget? Shira. And the fact that you're carrying around an ornament that even the Z Central factory couldn't create, well, how about you tell me who you really are? Come on, Shira, don't treat me like I'm some kind of stranger. I'm Oliver Laham, the wandering bard and gifted musician you've come to adore. But if you'd like to get to know me better, I'm sure we could arrange something. A little pillow talk, perhaps? How about we skip the foreplay and go straight to the climax? Your cheap antics don't fool me, Oliver. Or should I call you Mr. Erebonian Operative? Heh, it looks like the title Silver Streak isn't just for show. So I guess you were pretending that you didn't notice in front of Estelle and Joshua, huh? I don't want to worry those two any more than they already are. So back to the subject at hand. Why don't you start talking? Who are you, and what are you doing in Liberal? Before that, I'm going to have to correct you on 2 points. First off, these cheap antics, as you call them, are totally natural. I'm not play acting or anything. That's just who I am. Oh, I'm sure. So do you mean to tell me you just drank that wine without paying just because you felt like it? And after that, being taken to the heckin' gate so you could gather information was all a part of the plan? And you even set yourself up to run into us? I don't think so. Heh, I'll leave that part up to your imagination. The other thing I must correct you on is that this device is not an ornament. It is an artifact which was unearthed in the Empire. It can piggyback off any orbital communication systems. Its transmissions can be encrypted, so there's no worry about them being interrupted. It comes in handy for a busy man such as myself. An artifact, like one of the sacred relics that the Sethan Church has stewardship over? Now I'm all the more curious to know what you're after. Oh, no, Shira. You should never try to pry into the secrets of a mysterious beauty all at once. How would you like to get to know a real woman? I'd be more than willing to show you with my whip. Shira, I don't see any humor in those eyes. Well, jokes aside, you really should have just been straightforward from the beginning. As you have already figured out, my position is like that of an operative in the Empire, but I have no intention of sabotaging anything or stealing classified information. I merely came here to meet a certain someone. A certain someone? Yep, someone you know all too well. The one lauded as the supreme swordsman and master strategist of the Royal Army. The bracer with the special title belonging to but 4 people throughout the whole entire continent. The divine blade Cassius Bright is the one I seek. So he's a spy looking for Cassius, but why?